Hello, hello, hello! My name is T, and today I'm doing a little bit of a design challenge where I make Wings of Fire characters based on playlists. So these are from playlists that I've already made that I just listen to in my free time. I use Spotify to listen to music, and Spotify has this algorithm that puts album covers together to make a cover for the playlist. And this is what I base the color palettes on. It's pretty easy to do on your own too though. You just take the first 4 songs that belong to different albums and get those covers and put them together. I tried to get a solid variety of playlist types and not have too many repeats. Also, one thing I do want to mention is that some of my playlists are really long and varied, so for personality, I mostly base the characters on the 4 songs represented on the cover. The first playlist I worked on to design a character for was mainly based around these 4 songs. Paradise is a Silkwing Skywing hybrid, probably with more Silkwing inheritance. I had a lot of trouble with his colors from the beginning. I really liked the color palette that album covers gave me, but I didn't know how to put them together into a dragon. I think I actually like one of my first color tests better than the one I ended up choosing, but either way, I really like how this design came out. It was definitely the most challenging one, but in a fun way. Paradise is a complicated character in his personality as well as his colors. He deals with a lot of paranoia and distrust of others, but he rarely shows it. Most dragons he's just met would describe him as friendly and loud, quick to make friends and not shy about showing off. But when asked to name any one of his deeper feelings or goals, they couldn't. He rarely shows his true feelings toward dragons, and tends to treat everyone the same whether or not he likes them. Sometimes one of his true feelings or fears will slip out through a dark joke or comment, and it often makes those around him do a bit of a double take. He never acknowledges it when what he's saying takes a dark turn, and immediately glosses over it with his usual conversation. In reality, this is because it's simply the way his brain works. He doesn't consider the occasional dark comment or paranoid statement to be a deviation from the normal. He doesn't realize that not all dragons think in this way, or at least not to the extent he does. He assumes they just show it in different ways. And that is Paradise. As you can see, I did a bit of work on personality as well as color design, because I can't ever do a design challenge without making up excessive personalities for the characters. It is my personal character flaw. Orion is the next character I designed, based on an album cover consisting of these 4 artists and songs. She's an Icewing Nightwing hybrid. Her color palette was also hard, just because I wanted to include the light browns and earthy green colors as well. I really like how it turned out in the end, even though I think I could have made some of our colors brighter and more contrasting from each other. I only added a bit of yellow-orange, mostly from the Imagine Dragons album cover, and I think I should have made her eyes and earrings a little bit brighter too. Overall, I'm happy with how she turned out. For her personality, Orion is a reclusive inventor who likes to study different medicinal or poisonous combinations. She lives near the rainforest to have access to different plants, and gets space of her own in exchange for medicines. She used to be in a relationship with one of the Rainwing's main medics, and now things are more complicated. They didn't work out for a multitude of reasons, but one of the main ones is because Orion could never bring herself to express her feelings and show that she cared the way other dragons could. Everything that seemed to come so naturally to them she had to fight tooth and nail to understand. And even when she did, she never really felt things in the same way. Every little thing was exhausting, and it was far easier to retreat into the background. She tries not to dwell on the past, and what she sees as her shortcomings, but she's not very good at it. Instead, she throws herself into her work, almost obsessively working on solutions to problems to avoid dealing with those that actually affect her. Any distraction is good enough, and not having one is maddening. Alrighty, that is Orion. She was really fun to work on. I had a lot of fun designing her personality. I listened to her first 4 songs on loop when, well, actually, technically, I listened to The Night We Met on loop when I was working on her, so that is mainly the song that helped me come up with this personality for her, but the other ones are definitely incorporated as well. The next playlist made a cover with these 4 main songs. This is probably one of the happiest playlists I have, and I really wanted to show that with the character. They're a sandwing named Nimbus, after the blue-tinted cloud pattern swirled across their wings. I originally smacked a whole bunch of colors down on the canvas from the albums, but I ended up using mostly pale orange, some rosy pink, and of course the blue wing swirls. I could have definitely used more colors from the darker album covers and given them some accessories, like maybe a cloak that fit with the dark blue or black. That's one thing I regret with them in terms of design, just because it's not as close to the albums as I would have liked. For Nimbus's personality, they can come across as naive and even sheltered to those who don't know them well. They always tend to look on the bright side of things. They're generally quite sweet and surprisingly streetwise for someone so gentle. They do various odd jobs fetching supplies for one of the healers in Possibility, but their real passion is painting. They've painted quite a few murals around Possibility, and plan to continue this. As you may have noticed in the sketch and design, they were born with a deformed wing that never grew like the other one did. Because of this, travel's very hard for them compared to other dragons. One of their street jobs is doing paintings based on dragons' descriptions. Often, a homesick wanderer will tell them about the way they remember the place they're missing, and Nimbus will do their best rendition of it based on the description. They like hearing about these places, as well as giving these dragons a little bit of joy from talking about them and seeing something similar painted. I really like Nimbus. I think that, even though I definitely didn't go as deep into the album covers as I would have liked to, I do genuinely enjoy their design, and I had fun drawing them. I'm glad that I didn't stick with the first original sketch that was a bit off, and it just didn't fit them as well as the one where they're staring up, like, sort of dreamily into the sky. So I'm happy I did that. Mauve is the final character I designed. They're mainly based on these 4 songs. In my opinion, Mudwings are one of the coolest tribes in Wings of Fire, and they really don't get the love they deserve. I do believe in Mudwing supremacy. I wanted to design a couple of purebred dragons, so I didn't just rely on hybrids for ease of mixing scale colors. Mauve is a deep, muddy purple color with brown accents and icy blue scales along their underside. Their colors aren't very muddy, so I worked that into their backstory. Mauve is a very battle-scarred Mudwing, having lived through the Sandwing War of Succession. During this time, they dealt with a lot of suspicion because of the color of their underscales being icy blue. To their knowledge, they're simply a color mutation, and they don't have any Icewing heritage. But whether or not they do matters very little, because either way they were surrounded with suspicion and snide comments for a vast majority of their youth. And it increased tenfold when the war started. Mauve threw themselves into battle after battle to prove their loyalty, and yet it never seemed to be enough. Part of them, the deepest part of them, is still angry about this. They can't just let it go. To them, it seems like the world has forgotten. But they haven't. They spent most of their youth hating themselves for something they couldn't choose, and the rest fighting to prove themselves to everyone. They're pretty disappointed in the world and have a really nihilistic view of things. They now work as a mercenary, still fighting for others, and yet they don't know what else to do. This is what they know. At least now, they get to pick and choose their battles. Alrighty, I think that's about it for the design challenge. I certainly had a lot of fun with this. I did not design as many characters as I originally planned to. I was gonna do, I think, 5, but I kind of ran out of steam after Mauve. But, either way, I'm kind of glad because it gave me the opportunity and space to really focus on these characters and really like put a lot of effort and thought into their designs, and I love making characters. I have a bit of a hoarding problem with characters, so these will be added to the mass of characters that I've made and will continue to probably not ever use. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I did. I really like the idea of making characters based on playlists because I already make characters that are inspired by songs a lot of the time. So I think it's a fun challenge to just get like the first 4 songs in one of your playlists and go, okay, I'm gonna make a character based on this with the colors from the albums. I think that it would be neat to see like other people's takes on this, if anybody else wanted to do a playlist challenge like that. I haven't seen too many out there. I did see one where people exchanged playlists and then made characters based on them, which I will link in the description. It was not inspired, but I did notice it afterwards because I was just curious to see if anyone else had had the same idea. But it is a very cool video, so I'm gonna link it because you should check it out anyways. Alrighty, I'm gonna stop rambling now, and I am going to head out. Thank you so much for watching. If you have suggestions for future videos you would like to see, any thoughts, feelings, threats, you can leave them right in the comments below. Thank you. Goodbye.